This is The Spot, a BYU-Idaho radio production where we talk about what you're talking about at BYU-Idaho. Today's hosts are John McSwain, Jared Webster, and me, Nina Shakin. The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university and are solely the opinions of the hosts.
So what are you doing for 4th of July and what does it mean to you?
So I will most definitely be doing school, and I might also be hanging out with my grandparents in Idaho Falls. And I think that's just a really great way to celebrate our freedom because we are able to learn. We're free to learn and grow, and we're free to spend time with our family.
Good morning. Yeah, go.
For 4th of July, that's a really good question. I am still trying to figure that out, but it does mean a lot. I like watching the fireworks. It means a lot to me because I get to remember the freedoms and why I'm in this country and why our country is the way it is.
All right, for the 4th of July, we always go to the rodeo every year. And then after the rodeo, there's a fair and a parade. And I really like the 4th of July, not just for the fireworks and for, the patriotism and everything that goes with it, but because it's something that for years my family and we always get together. It's almost like a family reunion in the fact that all my extended family gets together and we have, barbecues and go do fun things like that.
I love the 4th of July because it reminds me always of this beautiful place we've been given and all the people that made that possible. And it's just a great time to appreciate this beautiful land.
Yeah.
4th of July, probably going to a rodeo, do it every year with our family. It just means a lot to be able to hang out with all of our cousins and everything every year. So
4th of July is actually one of my favorite holidays. I don't know about you guys, but I just think it's super fun, and I like it a lot. So
it's definitely one of the holidays where there's actually things to do, just with the combination of it being in summer. So that means you have the ability to do things outdoors and stuff. Not that you couldn't do that any other time, but just the for me, the feeling of hey, it's summer, you can do things outside. Plus, there's a holiday where there's huge meaning attached to it. It's probably one of the more fun ones to go out and do something with.
Yeah, I have to agree with Jared on that because it's the summer. You're outside. There's a lot of things going on. Most likely, you're really getting excited. There's multiple fireworks shows going on right before the 4th. So maybe if you have time, you can hit those all little spots until you get to that grand finale area where that the show's going to be top notch, right? So I love that fact that, it's nice, it's summer, and you can hit different spots outside and just be with your friends and family.
Yeah, it's just this the theme that I was seeing from these responses is that not only is it just a fun holiday, but it's a time to be with family. They actually have an excuse to all come together and celebrate. So that's something that's true for me too. I always spend it with family when I can, and you just enjoy each other's company. It's super cool.
Which I think is kind of funny because for me, I almost see the 4th of July as a friend holiday. So I'm on other holidays, I need to go see my family. I have to go home. I have to go home. I love going home. But the 4th of July is I hang out with my friends. There's fun activities, you go to the lake, whatever. And it's kind of funny. So my boyfriend's from Mexico, so he never experienced 4th of July, obviously, until he came here. And I was like,
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a romantic holiday. And he was like, I agree. Because before he went with his friends when he first came here, and he was like, everyone's cuddling up on each other and watching fireworks. And he's like, he doesn't really like to be touched. And he was like, I'm not really vibing with that for me personally. But I don't know. I think a lot of people kind of see it also as a friend, oh, let's wear matching shirts, kind of a holiday too.
I think that's especially true for up here at school, just because a lot of people are away from their families.
True.
And so it became, that's what it was for me for the first couple of semesters, I guess not semesters, the years, because it only happens once a year.
Yeah.
But like because I always did it with my family, and now that I'm married, I do it with like family again, with like either in-laws or mine. But when there's a small area of time where it was just a friend holiday. It's like, hey, I'm by myself, but I still want to do something. Let me go with some friends that I've made or whatever. So yeah, I totally forgot about that aspect of it for school up here, you know?
For sure. And I know a lot of people in their responses were just talking about different things that they can do, which I think part of that to me makes it kind of a friend activity because there's so many things you can go out and do with them. But we have Ethan here, who is interning at the Chamber of Commerce right now, and he is going to tell us a little bit about some of those 4th of July activities that we can do here in Rexburg this year. So
yeah, absolutely. So every year the Rexburg Area Chamber of Commerce, they put on a party in the park and a parade on the day of the 4th of July. And so it's always a grand event, and so many people come out, and it's always a good time. So many different activities as well. And so for the parade starts at 10 a.m. on the 4th of July. And basically it goes from Smith Park, and it goes down Main Street all the way down to Porter Park. And yeah, I mean, if you've been in Rexburg in years past, you've probably seen it or heard of it. It's pretty big. And yeah, it is it's really cool.
What time do you recommend folks to show up and get a decent spot?
yeah, if you want a good seat, what time do you got to get there?
I mean, when I've personally attended it in years past, I was able to show up like as it was starting, and I was still able to see it. But if you want to be like front row, I mean, probably at least 30 minutes early, just to make sure you're able to see everything. But I mean, yeah, it's cool because I mean, there's just so much going on the stages that are moving down the road. And I mean, you can hear it from pretty far too. So, but yeah, get there maybe 30 minutes early, I'd say.
I think it's cool too. I remember last year I went to the parade, and I'm not really a sitter. Like, I like to be moving. So my friend and I were just like walking, but it goes on for like so long that I felt like I could just keep walking, and it just was not ending. So it was awesome.
Yeah. Don't they have a theme for every time they do a parade?
Yes, they do. I don't actually have it with me.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah,
but
I know the theme. It does change every year.
They get pretty serious about
it.
it.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So
what type of things have come up in the past?
I think it just depends on. I don't know the theme. I'm not sure about the themes from last year, but I think it depends on like what is taking place that year.
Okay.
It's always gonna be very patriotic though.
Yeah.
It's just like they're very much like
I found the theme, guys,
Aha.
for this year.
Nice.
And where'd you find it?
I just Googled it.
Probably
but
on
it's
the-
on rexburgchamber.org
There you
if
go.
anyone wants more information. But this year's theme is 2022 salutes the red, white, and blue.
There you go. How
So-
patriotic does that sound?
Yeah,
Salute
very
to
patriotic.
you.
I almost
Red,
find that a
red,
little
and
funny.
blue.
Like, I don't know how many themes you can have for the 4th of July parade that aren't gonna like really turn out the same
Yeah.
in terms
They
of like.
find a way.
Agreed.
They do, yeah.
They get creative with it. So I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that is just the parade part of it, and then the party in the park that takes place even before the parade starts. So people will get there. That starts at 9 a.m.
Oh wow.
That goes
It's an early party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what kind of things?
Gotta wake up early.
What kind of things do you expect at the party in the park?
There'll be a lot. So I mean, just a few of them. There's definitely gonna be like a carousel kickoff event, but just beforehand. But yeah, I mean, on the actual day itself, there's gonna be a lot of food vendors and arts and crafts vendors as well. They're just
Nice.
set up. There'll be some live bands performing as well.
Nice.
There will be some acrobats performing. So
Oh, there's gonna be
that's
lots of
just, that's
stuff.
just a limited variety, but yeah, there will be just lots of things going on throughout, and it will be time frames during each. So if you show up at a certain time, you might not be seeing something you were expecting to see. So
Just gotta be there for the whole thing. Huh?
yeah, so it's got to be for the whole entire
You gotta
thing.
get there at 9 a.m. and stay until the
Stay
parade
until-
starts. Yeah.
So
What a fun time though.
Yeah, it'll be sweet.
Yeah.
And there should be a good turnout.
It's
That'd be
normally like local food vendors or food trucks coming in or something
Yeah,
like that.
either from Rexburg or maybe Idaho Falls.
Okay.
Probably a lot of expect a lot from these two areas.
That's super cool. I don't know. Just from where I'm from, I feel like a lot of places have their own parades. That's pretty standard. But I don't. At least from where I'm from, we don't have anything else after that. So to have like the city have something else just besides parade to put on, I feel that's really cool. I'll have to check that. Hopefully I can check it out. We'll see if I work or not. But yeah, that sounds really cool that they take it a step further from just a parade and then having that little party in the park, like you said. That's super cool.
I know I saw a sign as well that there's a Main Street Mile run as well. Is that before or after the parade, or when does that go down? Do you know of it?
The time on the information I have, the time isn't listed, but
Okay.
It will be during that time period of. It might even be beforehand, actually.
Okay.
I looked this one up too, guys.
Yes.
She's got the.
Yeah.
She's got it.
So it starts at 9:45 a.m.
So,
So,
like,
if
right
you
in
do the
between.
race, you're gonna miss out on part of the party. Personally, I'm not running to miss out on a party, but I think some people would.
Yeah.
So
Definitely. And some of the parade too, right?
Yeah, because the
Nice.
parade starts at 10, so you'd miss
Yeah.
some of the parade too. But
After
Maybe
you're
that
done.
is the
Well, it
parade,
is-
just people running. No.
I mean, it
I mean,
is just.
it depends on how long it takes for you to run the mile.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't think that people could do it faster, but I don't know.
Some people
I
have
might
done it
do
in,
that,
like, 5
honestly. That
minutes
sounds
or
kind of
so.
interesting because, like, I was gonna do the Teton Dam Marathon, but then I was out of shape. But a mile, I feel like I can suffer for a mile
A
if I have
mile,
to.
yeah,
you know?
right.
And maybe just kind of get some 15 minutes of fame, if I win.
Yeah.
You know, just kidding.
Yeah. it isn't like a half marathon or anything.
Yeah,
like that,
so it's just pretty quick
should be
compared
pretty
to all
easy,
that,
pretty
yeah.
Quick. But
Wow,
yeah.
that's super cool. So there's obviously a lot of events going on in the morning. Is there anything else that you guys have done while you're down here that you do or that you've always done, or some new things that you discovered?
I just really like going to the lake, like classic, but
Right.
there's that like Rigby Lake over there. I love going to Rigby Lake, even though it's so on the 4th of July. If you, it's too many
pretty
people.
crowded.
Yeah, it's crowded. So don't go so I can have a good time. But no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I like going to Rigby Lake. I mean, for me, holidays are all about food, right? So I
yeah.
like, classic. I like grilling and just hanging out with friends. For me, that's my like favorite part of the 4th of July is just
Oh yeah.
eating a hot dog and some potato salad. So
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know where Soda Springs is here in Idaho. It's
yeah.
but 2-ish hours away. It's like you've probably heard of the lava hot springs or something like that. So it's basically in that same area. But some of my in-laws live there. So like one of my wife's uncles lives there. But he's got some property out in some rural area. So he has all this space. And so one of the last times I did anything for 4th of July, we actually went there. So all of their family came over to this spot, and they're grilling. There's music. There's lots of good food, and people are just and people can go outside and they're playing games like spike ball or the beanbag throwing thing. So that was something that I really liked, is just having people you don't get to see all the time and just enjoying each other's company. And if you get tired of one family member, you just go to the other one. Just you know what I mean. So that's something that I did last time that I think is really cool. So I don't know about what you guys have done.
Yeah, for me, this is my first time over here for 4th of July.
Oh, you're not a spring guy in the past?
No.
Nice.
I first got it here on campus in last fall. So
what sounds most interesting to you?
Most interesting, of course, I Googled a bunch of stuff.
Right.
But most interesting is there's this 4th of July fireworks show in Idaho Falls.
Right. That's
right. And that I feel like that's so common. Like everyone had just heard over to Idaho Falls. But I think there's a couple different places that they may have fireworks going off, or just it's a bigger area probably. So hopefully, if it is a lot of people, it doesn't seem like we're all like sardines mashed up against each other. But so I might be going out for that, unless there's something local that you guys know about.
There are local fireworks shows,
There
right?
are local fireworks shows in Rexburg too.
Okay.
do you know where any of those are?
I know there will be some down at St. Anthony Sand Dunes.
I guess that's a very
dunes.
popular spot.
That's a
Yeah.
popular spot for
But-
fireworks.
I know that they kind of set them off in different places. So if you go up kind of high in Rexburg on a hill, right?
Yeah.
You can tend to see each one of them going off kind of at the
That's
same
true.
time, which is I know what a lot of people do. Or a lot of people go up by the church that's by the temple over there, and they sit on that lawn, and I know you can see some fireworks really well from there as well.
That's
So,
a good idea.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to just like focus on one. You can just like see what there is, you know?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
And I'm sure locals will be setting off.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, you'll be able to see a lot of action.
Yeah,
So-
and I'm, it's actually kind of funny. I'm the type of person that I'm like, it's like too loud for me a little bit. And so I kind of like going farther away and just seeing all of the shows. I think that's pretty cool.
That's funny
Yeah.
that you brought up the Idaho Falls location, because I actually went there before. That was like the first thing I did when I was like without my family up here. I was
Yeah.
like, I needed someone to make some friends. We went there. It's really cool because it's before the fireworks. Obviously, it's going to be somewhat similar to the day in the park, or party in the park. Sorry, but you got people that are selling food and stuff, and on this like a bunch of like. And there's like different things to do. Like there's some like if you're a kid, or you have kids, or if you just want to be a kid, you have like obstacle courses and stuff like that. They have set up there, and then there's the fireworks. So, so that's I just remember that brought up a memory that I kind of forgot about. So
Yeah.
I think you'll have fun there. So.
Yeah, I hope so. I think like Nina, like I expect food around.
No, there's
like
going to be food.
I'm
Don't worry about that.
so
Yeah.
down for food around like 4th of July, and either eating funnel cake or something like that, or
Yeah.
even like some places like they have like those fresh kettle corn
Ooh.
pop-ups and stuff
Yep.
like that.
That's a
So
classic right
that's
there.
a great
Yeah.
memory for me. Like I always remember just grabbing a fresh bag of that and just like hanging out with fam, getting our area and just waiting for the fireworks
Right.
to go off.
I
Which-
just hope that the weather is good.
Yeah.
I mean,
holds
it's
up.
gonna be July, so I assume that it'll be fine by then. That'll let the weather pick up.
We're
It'll be warm.
hoping.
We
Right.
can only assume.
Yeah, 'cause-
But knowing Rexburg,
yeah. So
There's a chance for snow.
there could
So
be
no matter what month, what day is good. So and also on the Rexburg gets pretty windy, so I hope that doesn't affect fireworks at all. Because that sometimes, like, if it gets really, really windy, it can like be dangerous to even do them. So
Yeah. Do you guys know where you can like? Well, number one, is fireworks legal in Rexburg, and two, where can we expect to buy it? Like, where can we go to buy? Fireworks.
well, in years past they have been, because they've always sold something. Like I know that on what's it called, 2nd Street, so where all the restaurants are, like where you can find McDonald's and like Jack in the Box and all that street.
Okay.
Like right next, it's different now because there's banks now where the entry spots used to be, but back then they would have, I just remember even like right across the street from each other was 2 like firework tents that would set up around
okay.
that time. So
it's like in that
yeah.
parking lot that used to be empty, but it's Harbor Freight now.
Yeah,
Right?
so-
Like I feel like they usually sell it there, but I don't know now that Harbor Freight's there.
Yeah, so I'm sure they'll find a spot, but like
Yeah.
usually
Yeah.
you'll know when it's around that time because they'll have those tents pop up and you can go buy something. But I don't think
I
there's
think
been.
someone even said that there was a tent last year in Walmart's parking lot.
I mean, there's always been a
Something
tent
like
in a
that.
Walmart parking lot for me growing up. Like I remember being like, "Oh, let's go to the
Really?
Walmart parking lot for that." But I think as far as them being legal, it just totally depends on how dry it is.
Yeah, so I just did some quick little research about the fireworks and what's legal or not. So the really small ones that you do in your street, like the spinners and fountain sparklers and stuff like that, those are fine. However, they don't like anything that kind of goes more than that.
Okay.
So
So I
probably
can't
just
have a
bigger
cake
ones.
of fireworks. I can't.
I mean, you can, but like, so yeah, so a lot of people. So I know that's always something that I like doing. So even after the big fireworks shows, you're not done. You still want to like, I'm a pyromaniac low key, so I kind of like setting things on fire. So I mean, so like I want to like take these things and like light them on fire and see them go off and stuff. So
Yeah.
that should be fun and that should be able to be done still. So that's something. I have a story actually, so it's something that I brought up. It's something like I won't say who, so I won't publicly shame them. But we were doing something. It was in Utah actually, but so we had one, those little spinners. So like they light and they go spin really fast and make a large sound. So one thing that we started doing was that we were taking these things that you normally just kind of toss them out to the street and they just kind of go off. But we're trying to see like, ooh, how high can we throw these things up in the air before? Like, can we have it go out before it touches the ground?
Yeah.
And so we were throwing them up in the air, and so far so good. And then the person that did this, again, I won't name who so they don't feel ashamed, but they're like, okay, it's my turn. They throw it up, but they throw it a little bit too far back onto the lawn, and so
oh no,
it started catching fire a little bit. So we had to like, all right, drop everything, start getting some water and pouring it out. So as funny as that was, just
be careful.
It's a thing. Be careful with the fireworks.
Safety guidelines.
Fire is a real problem, and don't go where things are super dry.
Don't lose a finger.
Just
NFL player.
Exactly. Just be smart about it. I mean,
yeah. And like you were saying, Nina, it depends on like the dryness of the season, right? So like, if it's super dry or there's a drought warning, there's probably like a ban on fireworks.
They usually would make like a statement about fireworks if there's any sort of drought issue. Also, I could be wrong, but I'm assuming you wouldn't see them for sale in parking lots. But again, I could be wrong about that. Maybe you can sell them. You're just not supposed to use them.
Just be careful about where you're doing it and how you're doing it, because we don't want another story about, hey, fire in Idaho, because, just be smart.
Yeah, never forget the, what was it, the gender reveal party that caused a huge fire in California.
That was multiple
You don't want that to be you.
So all these things are very fun to you, but like, what is the actual holiday itself? Like, obviously it's the Independence Day, so we know that it celebrates our independence, and so we became a free country. So keeping that in mind, do you guys ever actually think about that when you're celebrating the holiday, or is it just an excuse to party,
I think I do. I think a lot of people have different ideas about like what the 4th of July means to them, but I think for me, if anything, I just think that, I'm grateful to live in the United States, whatever that means. I think that there have been a lot of freedoms afforded to me that I appreciate. And so I'm grateful to be here, and that we have our independence. What about you, Ethan?
I think for me, when I hear someone say the 4th of July, the first thing my head goes to is, fireworks, a day off. Spending time with friends. Which is not bad. Which is not bad at all. Yeah. And it's good, it's a good thing. But when I hear someone say Independence Day, that's when usually my brain goes to like, okay, there's more meaning behind this. And like you were saying, I mean, there's so much that we've been given because of our independence, and lots of freedoms that we have. And so I feel like that's something that I could have my thought more on, around the time of the 4th of July, because it's very easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of, the
festivities of it all.
There's so much going on, and there's so much that we can do, with friends and family. So it's something to think about for sure.
How about you, John?
For me, I don't know. I was just pondering a little deep there, but to me, it's all about being in or living in the land of the free, right? And basically that means that like we have so many different cultures and different backgrounds of people coming together in this land. And, most often, sometimes from, immigrants, wherever they come from, coming over here, they come here because it's just a great country, number one, and two, that they are not as oppressed and different, maybe it's a religion thing or, whatever it was that helped them back in their country. We give that opportunity to you here. You can be anyone, come from any background and make your own way. That's for me. That's what independence is all about. It's like, you have the opportunity to live that American dream and, start a family, get your business, do whatever. And, I know there's so much that we have to work on in this country, but we've come so far and done so much, that it's just amazing to, think about we can do anything in this country where, legally do anything. And, just really live our own dreams. You can be whoever you want. You can be a bum or you can be a successful person, making millions of dollars. So to me, the 4th of July, I always think of those moments where I really appreciate living in a place that has so much freedom and opportunity for us to grow.
That was very well said.
Oh,
good
thanks.
job, man. I was like, dang. But yeah, as for me myself, I'm very much the same way, Ethan. I'm just like, it's a day off. I finally I'm always like having the same routine of work and school. I'm trying to live my life, So I'm very much the same way at first, and usually it doesn't really hit me until. This is why I love fireworks so much. Like when the fireworks, they're usually music accompanied by it, and so I don't know if like there's always you have your traditional songs like America the Beautiful or I'm Proud to Be an American, but like which are like at this point are just kind of things that you just in your head, they're nice songs, but like I remember this last one, I remember just actually sitting there actually like listening to the words of all these different songs. It's like, and like John brought it up too, it's like, yeah, this country is not perfect, no country is, but like I'm glad that I actually have the freedom to like voice my opinions, because there's countries out there where if you say what you're thinking, you get thrown in jail.
Oh yeah.
It's like the more I learn about these different countries and how different it is to where I live, I'm like, I really am proud to be an American. And like I'm happy to be here and have these freedoms that sometimes I take for granted. Like my freedom of speech or freedom of like that we have. I could go on a history lesson if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when I actually listen to those words and think about it, it's like, yeah, no, I'm really glad I was born here and was raised here,
And I think it's a good reminder when you're remembering the privileges and the freedoms that you have, to remember what you can do with those. As citizens here, we have opportunities to make the lives of other people better, whether that's through voting or welcoming in people who are trying to immigrate to the country, or, there's a whole mix of things, but I think there's a lot of things that we are able to do because we live here, and it's so important that we exercise those freedoms as well. But thanks to our listeners for listening to our episode, but please let us know, how does the 4th of July make you feel? What do you guys think about it? How do you celebrate? And what's your favorite part? We'd love to read those comments. So thanks, guys. You've been listening to The Spot, a production of BYU-Idaho Radio. Today's hosts were John McSwain, Jared Webster, and me, Nina Shakin. The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university, and are solely the opinions of the hosts. This episode was edited by me, Nina Shakin. Producers were the hosts with supervision by Brandon Isle. Our theme music is Finding Happiness by DJ Quads and The Perpetual Ticking of Time by Artificial Music. To listen to more episodes of The Spot, like and follow us on social media, or visit our website, byui.edu/radio, and click podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to the BYU-Idaho Radio podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, or wherever you get podcasts. And also leave a review of the show and leave a comment on what we should talk about next.